and welcome. Good morning, Mr. Stranger Than Fiction. How are you today? Good to see you here. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Dago's Cafe, sir. How are you today? Good, I hope. Thanks for stopping by. Let me get this shared out real quick here and we'll move forward, sir. Get some other people in here. Get everything rolling. Morning strike first. Call back up. Good morning. Good morning, Belinda. How are you guys this morning? Thanks for being here. All right, let me see here. All right. Good morning, everybody. Give me a moment here. Let me get this shared out. I'm kind of slow, and I've always told you guys I'm not good at multitasking, so I'm trying. Here we go. Good morning, Jim Tom. How are you? Morning, Momo. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for being patient with me. All right, that should be out there now. If anybody wants to reshare that, I appreciate it. If not, no worries. But good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. I hope you got your coffee. Let's talk. So how is everyone this morning? How did your day start off? Good, I hope. As did mine. So let's see. We got Stranger Than Fiction, Strike First, of course. Kala Backup Channel, which is Memo. Belinda McNeely, Jim Tom. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for making it in. Slowly but surely, I'm sure everybody else will fall in. I'm going to wait around here a few minutes before I get, just to get some other people in here before I go into what I was going to talk about. Again, it's about Summerwell's case, and there's some interesting new things that I've found. I thought I was going to bring to everybody's attention. It kind of back up some things and change up some things, so we shall see. Just give it a few minutes, get some more peeps in here. How are you this morning, Belinda and Memo? Mr. Jim Tom, Mr. Stranger Than Fiction. I hope you all had a restful night. As I did. Sure that I did get that shared out right. Thanks so much, Strike. I'm doing okay, Belinda. Thanks so much. Okay, let's see here. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. We got a couple more popping in here. I know it's early, guys. I'll wait a little bit longer. Let's see. Another crappy day outside. It's still cold, no sun as usual. Gotta love the weather. Hopefully, some of you guys are having better weather than I am because I am not enjoying it. I am not familiar with that stranger. I'll have to look that up though. I knew there was a case in Arkansas that I followed back before. I think it was about four kids, the missing four. I think it was that's what it was called. I think. Um, good morning, BBY, Rebecca, and Flower. Good morning, Miss Caitlin. How are you today? The one who's seen a drug deal stranger. Oh no, I'm not familiar with that at all. But I will. I will go check that one out in my free time because it sounds like it's interesting. Is that a cold case, guys, that was never solved, or is it something that was solved at one point? Or well, that's good to know, Caitlin. Hope you all had a well rested evening. Um, yeah, the cold cases. I have a big interest in cold cases, especially involving children that have disappeared, because it's oh, you know what? Being that that was said, um, I'm kind of. I think I did kind of hear something about that, but I don't know any big details on it. So was it something that was ever solved, or is it still, like I said, is it a cold case still? I don't know if you all saw it, but Caitlin says hello to everyone in the chat. As well as Strike First saying the same to good morning to everyone in the chat. Oh, absolutely. Rebecca, Um, there's no way that they won't get a conviction on that scenario. That's sad. I was looking at that this morning some more, and there's more things popping up with that every day. That's really disgustingly sad. That one bothers me a lot too because the West Memphis Three. That's right, stranger. Thank you with that one. Um, that was there's so many of them I've gone through, like my head swimming, and it's hard to follow them all. Wrath had mentioned last night. It's sad because you can't. I think every missing child should have the same amount of attention, and he made that comment last night, and I agree. It's just so hard to really do that because there's so many going on at one time, and there's only so many people that do that kind of thing, or even do what I do, or what any of these people that do this do. Um, oh, I know they're guilty, Rebecca or BBY. It's there's just no two ways about it. They were gone. That when they had the press conference in regards to the two boys from California, Orson and Orion, they are Orin and or I'm sorry, Orson and Orin West. There we go. Sorry guys, I've only had one cup of coffee, so I'm still not 100% functioning. But they charged him with 2 counts of murder. Period. And the boys, I think they were reported missing like a couple days before Christmas, December 21st. When they did the press conference in it, they said that there's proof that the boys were deceased 3 months before they even were reported missing. Like, what the hell is that about? That tells you right there that there's guilt. Okay, and then there was also, and a lot of rumors. You have to watch with the rumors. With the rumors, what's said. But the rumor being is that the two biological children of I think it's Trezell and Jacqueline West are the foster parents. They have two biological children too, and it was said that they made the biological children kill the adopted children. Okay, I have a AV Watchman. Absolutely, I've heard of. So if there was no guilt, they would have been reported missing the moment that they disappeared. There's just too many things that point to what it is. So it's not a good scenario at all. They will be convicted eventually. Um, I think they'll come up with bodies on that one. I hope. Um, those boys deserve a proper burial and to be put at rest the correct way. It's so sad, and I feel for the biological family of those boys because they wanted them to get um, you got a video from the neighbors and you see 4 kids get in the van. This is in regards to the West children. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I haven't been following that one a lot because I've been kind of concentrating on the somewhere else thing. I'd love to be able to. I did pick up now that there's been a um, now that something's popped up with it, I've started to watch it a little bit more. So I don't know. I think that the wife probably will talk, and they will offer a plea. Of course, you know that. So yeah, yeah. That's a really sad situation. Really sad situation. It's disgusting. These kids don't. The thing with this whole thing that bothers me, and I've said this before, is these kids do not ask to be born. to be brought into this world. They don't have a choice, and they are. And there are some parents that just can't handle having children, and sometimes in their life they struggle. And then because of that situation, there's you trust in the system to find good people, adoptive parents, foster parents, what you have, whatever, whoever it may be, to give these children that are struggling a better life. And then situations like this happen, and it's just so sad. Absolutely, stranger. I believe that one. And that was due to the um, popularity of the family, I believe, as far as and the money that they had and things like that. And I just that was ridiculous. Media, the media attention, it's a 50-50 scenario. I'm going to say when it comes to media attention with these things. On one side of it, you can look at media attention for these things being good because it's going to help to get um, the situation and scenario put out there for people to be able to help to figure it out. At the same time as saying that, on the other side of things, it can be bad because you have multiple people making multiple comments and multiple rumors get started about certain things, and then it causes problems. Yeah, botched. Definitely that situation. There was a definite botched crime scene, which causes a huge problem in that sense. So, unfortunately, that crime scene needed to have been locked down, taped out, and end of story. Unfortunately, it wasn't done that way. So, I'm hoping that there's a few more people that come in before I get into this. It's getting there slowly. I was looking at some statistics yesterday too, and I mean, basically, it's probably because of the size of California. But there were so many missing children that pop up missing in California on a daily basis. It's just it's crazy, abnormally high, and I don't know if it's due to the like I said the size of California or just the population. You know what I mean? Or the atmosphere of the state of California per se, environmental. You know what I mean? Society in itself. There's a lot of children that come up missing in California, just every single day. And the stats we're reading by the minute. Every five or I think. I'm trying to remember. I think they said every 8 minutes a child goes missing in California. It's like what the hell, you know, whether it be an accidental, a child walks off, or a lot of it they're saying is leading back to child trafficking, which absolutely disgusts me. And kidnappings, of course. There's a lot of sick people out there, guys. A lot of them, and it's really scary. And I've always been that way with my kids from day one. I was, they're all grown now except for my 15-year-old, but still, wherever my kids were, I was there, regardless of the situation. I was there, and if I couldn't see them or couldn't be next to them, they didn't go. That's just how it was. If he went outside, even to this day, I have a 15-year-old son who's an ogre. He's huge. He's bigger than me, height wise and all that stuff. And if I don't know exactly where he's at or what he's doing, he just doesn't do it. He doesn't like me for that matter sometimes, but still, I don't put it past anybody at any time to try to do something that's not right. So And being that he has the issues that he has, he's a little less, he's very friendly. He puts his heart out there to everybody. And I don't trust anybody. So, and I think more parents need to be that way. Unfortunately, you have parents that are, um, how can I put it? Their lives are more important than their children's lives are to them. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. When you have a child, your life stops, their life starts. And whatever you had going on in your life does not matter any longer. It's nothing but that child or children that matters. You don't eat unless your child eats first. You don't bathe unless your child bathes first. You'll go without clothes because your child needs clothes. If your shoes are broke down and falling apart, or they're not clean, or they don't look the best or stylish, then sorry for you. Your kid needs shoes. That's how those things work. And a lot of people do not believe that way. You have people that say, "Well, I need my weed, so my kid's not going to eat tonight, or not going to have lunch tomorrow for school." Or it's like, no, or I need my beer, my alcohol tonight. So whatever money I was going to spend on dinner for my child tomorrow night is not going to happen. So I'm sorry. You're going to eat ramen noodles or something like that. But no, it doesn't work that way. You make those sacrifices the day that child comes into this world, and you continue making those sacrifices until you don't make those sacrifices. When that child does no longer need that and they can take care of themselves, that's when that stops and you start to live your life again. Yeah, I followed John Walsh for years, when his son went missing and so on and so forth. He's kind of in your face, but he gets the job done. So, and you can tell when he don't like somebody. That's for damn sure. He makes it known. It was kind of comical to watch him throughout the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie case. Like, he just boom. First thing he came out, he thought that Brian Laundrie and his family were a piece of shit. He knew that he did it. No matter what you told him, that wasn't going to change anything. And like I said, John Walsh he's in that shit right there. So, but yeah, that's the main thing that I'm trying to make a point with. And this goes all the way back to, to the Summer Wells thing. The day that child's born, you start to sacrifice everything in your life that you've always wanted to do that makes you happy, basically, to make your child have the life that they should. And when you don't do that, I'm sorry, but I question your parenting skills 100%, and I question your morality because of that too. Children are innocent; they have no idea what life is about. It's up to us as parents to teach that the right way, to show that the right way, to give them the comfort and stability and security that they deserve as a child. And when you don't do that, we're not even going to go there because there's no excuse for that. None. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. So, well, I don't see too many more people coming in here. So, what I was going to get, I guess I can get into what I was going to get into. I kind of wanted to wait for a few people that I know like to be here that were definitely interested in this, but I guess I could always go back. So, there was a video. I'm gonna have to try to find it. It was there and then it's gone. So, um, in regards to what's that, Belinda? Let's see here. My brother and I are blessed to have our mother. She sacrificed a lot so that we wouldn't go without, and still does. My grandparents, absolutely, and that's what we do as parents and or grandparents. I do the same thing for my grandchildren. As of now, my kids are adults. They have their own children. They can fend for themselves, but their children again cannot. So now, besides taking care of my 15-year-old, I sacrifice now for my grandchildren because again, that's just the way it is. That's what you do. So but I agree with that 100%, Belinda. That's awesome. Um, so as I was saying, there was a video released, and I cannot go back. I went back to try to find it so that you guys could actually hear it, but I'll just give it to you the way it was. From the beginning of this scenario with Summer, I have always questioned the grandmother that they call Grandis because for some reason the woman's name is Candace, just like her daughter's name is Candace. I don't get that, but whatever. Um, I questioned her part in this entire scenario. The day that they went swimming, she was involved. There's just a lot of things that don't make sense with her too. And I'm digging trying to find this video. It's driving me nuts. But she had a conversation with a close friend of hers, and at one point in time in this conversation, they cannot verify this woman or this person that she was friends with that she spoke with. That's the problem. But this person came out with the conversation that Grandis had with them and said that the day that they showed the picture of Summer sleeping in the truck, so on and so forth, that yeah, that's true. She was at the emergency room. Well, now she's saying that if everybody has seen the picture of Summer sleeping on the back seat leaning against the milk jugs, the grandmother's popping out now saying to this other person that Summer never woke up, which goes back to the theory that I represented the other day. And I had a feeling about that. Now, nobody knows for sure. Hearsay is hearsay, and that's what it's always going to be. But it does make sense. Okay. Um, and I really did believe that from the beginning. So Summer never woke up. So if that was the case, there's multiple things that could have happened. Okay. I always go back to the dry drowning scenario, and or again the rivers and lakes and ponds, in Tennessee. Those rocks are slippery. The child went into the water multiple times, as told by H, and you're slipping and trying to stand up all over the place. There was no any kind of a life vest, floaty apparatus, nothing to hold her above the water. She's a very tiny little girl, and the force of the water against her body, you know, compressing her chest, things like that, holding her down, it's got to be rough. She was tiny. She's really tiny. 40 pounds, and not to mention the water, the temperature of the water that day was 70 degrees. Well, we all know when we get cold that we don't move as fast and as stealthy as we normally would because it depresses our muscles. It makes it harder to move around. So this all carries over into my theory about the dry drowning, as they call it. Okay, I think she swallowed too much water. I think her little body couldn't handle that. She was freezing. Now it could be a combination of things too. It's absolutely not for swimming. It was a horse pond, they call them, and they lead horses there to drink and whatnot. So it's not really for swimming, especially not for a small child. Which goes back to the neglect, parental neglect. I'm sorry, but you can think and you want to go swim in it. You're a grown adult. That's different. But when you have a 40-pound child who's this very small framed, no, okay, and as small as she was, um, it just shows that let's say this, okay, if she did get the water in her lungs from that, now the fact that her core temperature was brought down by the water, okay, and then let's say this, they left the swimming hole, we'll call it, and moved along somewhere else. Everybody decided they were thirsty, and we're going to stop at Sonic and get slushies, I guess they were. So that you're drinking a slushie, that adds to dropping your core temperature. which the colder your body gets, the weaker you are. To, for instance, if she had water in her lungs, she's not got the strength to expel the water by coughing it or coughing it out either. So it's sitting in there. Then she falls asleep because she's tired, because the core temperature's dropped. It wears you out. You're tired. Good morning, Miss Amy. Thanks for being here, dear. 14:13 p.m. So it's 2:13 p.m. there. 30 minutes left working, and you're free for the day. Amen. Good for you. Well, and that was the question everybody has, Rebecca. If it was an accident, why not do it? Because CPS was going to be at the house the next day. Okay. Now, if there was another situation going on, and that is military time, strike first, 14:13 would be 2, or I'm sorry, 14:34 would be 2:34 p.m. in the afternoon. Um, Only because I was a firefighter, we know military time. That's how we did everything. But going back to what I was saying, they already had a CPS case working, and they were coming the next day. So this is just one more thing that they're going to get in trouble for, and could lose all of the kids for, and possibly do jail time, considering God knows what's been going on. There were there were rumors that the father was SAing the daughter, so on and so forth. So if this is one more thing, they panicked, and they're not very smart people, common sense wise, but they panicked and said, okay, this is the scenario, this is what it is. And again, I still think that they may not have known, because of the intelligence level, that that the child was having that problem. Oh yeah, CPS took the boys very shortly after she went missing. That's what I'm saying. The day that Summer went missing, the 15th of June, the 16th of June, CPS was due to come there. That's why the boys were not with her when they left the home, because the boys had to stay at home and clean the house up to get ready for the CPS people to come there the next day. Okay, which they didn't do. And they were probably coming to take the kids to begin with. And if there was something going on behind the scenes with Summer and or the father or something else, this is why there's so many different variations of this. The people think it was done on purpose to hide that situation, so that Dawn, was not charged or did not get any trouble for things like that. Therefore, Summer couldn't talk about it. From the videos I've seen of Summer, she's very outgoing, very, both, out there in your face, will tell you anything. To get attention, because she was probably, obviously not probably, but definitely neglected and did not get the attention that she deserved as a 5-year-old little girl. So I'm going to talk to, imagine, I'm going to say this or do that to get your attention, to pay attention to me, because I need it. She's yearning for that attention. So let's do this, So there's that option, and or, like I said, it was just purely an accident that the grandmother did not know about. So, but that being said, that takes me back to the Hunter issue, where the day that Hunter was with them, and then he went home, and ever since then he's never been the same. I don't get that. He knows something, so there may not have been an accident. Do you know what I'm saying? It all goes in a circle. Yes, she does have a YouTube channel I've been following and watching and listening, waiting for her to make a mistake, because I'm obviously one of the people that feels that the parents are completely involved. There's something that I'm going to play for you guys here in a few to hear, that she's been throwing up red flags left and right, okay? And not to mention the fact that they are no longer cooperating with authorities, that they've lawyered up, they're this, they're that. So these are huge red flags, but there's things that she has said now that throw your attention in a different way. Um, the case is turning quite a bit in a sense. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. You guys hang loose for a second here, talk amongst yourselves if need be, and I'm going to see if I can get this set up for you guys. Hi, Kimberly, welcome. I'm working on getting something set up for you guys to hear real quick, so just bear with me. Thank you, and my apologies. All right, guys, sorry about that. All right, now this is like a third party interview scenario. The best way I could find it, I just wanted you guys to hear this to give your opinion and, basis on what you're hearing. Bear with me, the audio is not the greatest. If you can't hear it, let me know and just try to make it out the best you can. This threw up a bunch of red flags with me and just like completely. I mean, I already had my feelings on it, but it definitely opened up a couple doors. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Like I said, there's a couple different people speaking. If you can try to differentiate it, I'll try to work it through for you guys so that you can understand if you don't. And besides that, I'm going to go ahead and get it going here for you guys.
I did with Summer, according to this lady. So let's see. I'm gonna see if I can try to find it because I think.
Now, mind you, this is one of Grandis's friends that was Grandis spoke with and said these things. And a lot of these things are completely different from the interview that was done with TBI and Grandis and Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. So remember that.
At 16. Hang on just a second. I'm going to find it. And so something happened to Summer in that car that day.
Candace and Summer took her for her.
Sorry. Can you guys hear this okay? Let me know real quick if you can.
Her knee appointment at the hospital.
I want y'all.
Now you can hear that okay, clearly, I hope, correct? Okay, good deal. Here we go.
Listen to this, okay? Here we go. Hold on.
And then Candace and Summer went and picked up Hunter.
Right.
Okay. So they went, now I want to remind people, what I'm talking about here is what Grandis told her confidant was the events of the day. So Candace drops her off to have her knee looked at. She goes and picks up Hunter, and she told you, what did Candace, Hunter, and Summer then do?
Went to swim hole.
And do you remember the name of the swimming hole again?
Oh, I don't. No, I don't. I don't.
Okay. So they go to the swimming hole, and they're there for the duration of the time that Grandis is in the hospital having her knee looked at.
Right.
And then what? What did she say to you? Did she contact Candace and say, I'm done?
No, I think Candace then got finished it because she didn't say nothing about that. Candace called her and told her she was done.
She said they came back and got her. Was Hunter there when they picked her up?
Yes.
Okay.
From the hospital, yes.
Okay, so they all pick her up, and what did she tell you were the events, the next transpiring events?
From after they dropped Hunter off.
Well, did she drink from the soda bottle before?
Oh, you talking about why they? Okay.
When did Summer say she was feeling sick?
That's when I guess they picked up Grandma. She said she did not feel good, and she was cold. I think Hunter was still in the truck then. I believe when that happened.
Grandis tell you she saw Candace put the warm school clothes on Summer?
No.
She did not see that.
No.
But she saw Summer drink from the orange pop-up.
She saw Summer pick up the orange, put it to her mouth. Whether she drank or not, who knows. But she yelled at Summer and told her, no, do not drink that. It's been in here for a while.
Okay, guys.
All right, now, going back to that, okay? That goes back to the theory I have about Summer's core temperature being dropped so low that she didn't feel good. She's freezing. This could be a combination of multiple things, guys. And that's what I was saying is she was in the water, playing, jumping, went under the water from what Hunter had said 3 to 4 times. we've all been swimming. We've all swallowed water on accident. Even as adults, it gets in there. You cough it out. Most of it, we think, you still have some in there. It's a pain in the ass. Okay, it sucks for a small 40-pound little girl that's very small framed like that. Um, we all know what she looked like. You could see her ribs from top to bottom. That's how tiny she was. Okay, so she swallows this water. Not to mention, again, the 70-degree water. She's freezing, so they put these warmer clothes on her to warm her up. And there's that bottle of orange soda that was in the picture on the back seat that the grandmother had said, "Don't drink out of that. It's been in here for a while." Blah blah blah. She's telling them, "I don't feel good." This is after they picked her up from the hospital and after they went swimming. Okay. So give me a second here.
Kind of split this up because this lady also talks about what Grandis. This is what makes it believable for me is because she called. Here in the interview, you're going to hear her say something about Allie, and that sounds something just like, "Hello, everybody coming." Now, this lady here talking is the lady that was Grandma's best friend. She was on a FaceTime.
And that's the thing. This is Grandis's best friend. So if there's something, we all trust our best friends. Okay. if the grandmother Grandis is has this information and it's bothering her, she's going to want to get it off her chest to somebody. Who better than your best friend? Okay. And I agree with this woman that this is why it does make it somewhat believable in this situation. So and I don't mean to keep interrupting. I just want to make sure you guys are understanding everything that's going on, who's talking, who's not, and what the scenario is. So
Grandis and her was talking, and she was confiding into this lady because she felt bad about not telling the truth about what really happened to Summer that day. So somehow she was concerned about an orange pop bottle. And so this lady was taking notes the whole time that Grandis was telling her this. And you're going to hear this about what she says. I want to split this up all together and wait for everybody to get in here. And we will go back over this again. So this lady is her friend, Grandis's friend, and she is confiding in her over what happened in that event. And the TBI is very well aware. And I'll answer everybody's questions after I let y'all listen to this. But man, I believe this woman's telling the truth. Listen what she has to say about Allie. That's what makes me think this woman's really telling the truth, y'all. But
and just so everybody knows, Allie, I'm sure you guys know this. I just want to make sure everybody's up to point. Allie is Hunter's mother. That they did Chris McDonough did the interview with on the front porch with the heavier set lady, the older woman, and Hunter that was there with them that day. That's Hunter's mother and his great grandmother were there. But Allie is, like I said, Hunter's mother. So
man, what happened that day? She tells everything what happened. So let y'all listen again, okay? And then we'll get to the part where she says what happened to Summer. I believe Summer was left in the car, you all. I think Summer was left in the car and she overheated and something. But you'll hear it and you all can decide for yourself, okay? So I'm gonna let y'all listen some more, okay?
And so we put it down. Then she gave her a bottle of water.
And then at what point did she tell you that Summer conked out?
It was on the way going home, and she fell asleep and just fell over on those milk jugs and was sleeping.
So do we know, did Brandis tell you whether she was sleeping before the stop to get groceries or after? Do you recall?
It was afterwards. They'd already went to, when Candace picked her up from the hospital, they went to the store to get whatever they got. Hunter was still with them when they went to the store.
Right.
All right. After they went to the store, they went and dropped Hunter off. Okay, on the way home, Summer said, well, I don't know if it, well, yeah, I'd be on the way home, said she was cold. She did not feel good.
okay. Now, give me a second here.
I'm Nick.
Sorry, guys. There's some ads there too, but give me a second to fix something. This is where the issue comes up with the timeline for me because it's been changed around so many times. Okay, that Hunter was with them when they went to the store, but then he wasn't. Then Grandis was with them before they went swimming. Then she wasn't. Then she was this, and then she wasn't. The story that Grandis told her friend here is turned around again, but I believe this is the true story as to what actually happened. So that's why I wanted you guys to hear this so much.
Hunter off. Did his mother come out to the car or no?
Well, grandma told me no.
And how did Grandma? What were the words that Grandma used? And I don't mean any offense by this because we're paraphrasing what she said. But what were the words that Grandis used regarding Hunter's mom?
She said that 2-ton did not come to the truck.
So she was emphatic.
Okay, did y'all hear that? Did you hear that? Now that sounds like something Grandis would say, you all. Yeah, I'm gonna put a trigger warning up for you all, just because. But that's something that Grandis would say. She said that 2-ton didn't come out to the car. Now I think that's something. Yeah.
Now, what that means is they weren't really getting along with Candace and and her family were friends with Hunter's mother, Allie, and them previously, but they hadn't really talked in a while before all this scenario went down. So, she's a bigger girl, and she said that 2-ton wouldn't come to the car, meaning she was too lazy to get off her ass and walk out to the car, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's why that was said. The phrasing is interesting to me, but it is what it is. So
This lady says the TBI is aware of it. That's probably why they're keeping Hunter's phone, because something happened to that baby in that vehicle, and I think maybe she might have been left in a hot car. But I'm gonna let you all listen and decide for yourself, because everybody says I'm jumping to conclusions, but everything I've told you all this far has counted out. So I want to let you all listen for yourself and hear this for yourself. Now, I can imagine Grandma calling Allie 2-ton. I could see her doing that. So I want y'all to listen. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive, y'all. But this is what she said.
okay, are you guys there? My apologies. My internet just did some kind of a weird thing. Sorry about that. Are you there? Let me know. Can you hear me? Welcome, John, if you can hear me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, my internet cut out. Thank you, Amy. Kimberly, appreciate it. My internet just, I don't know why. I have a crappy internet service out here. If the wind blows, sometimes it goes left and right. So I really do apologize for that, guys. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry that you guys had to see my ugly face, too. My camera pops on and off, pop on and off, on and off. That's why I'm trying to get this stuff together. So, okay, back to where we were. My apologies once again. Now, let's see where we're at.
I think has no relevance, but I mean, maybe that's just something that she wants to know. But I want you all to hear. I know, y'all. I know. I want y'all to. I'm going to fast forward it to the part where they get out of the car. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I want you all to hear this part. This is the most important part, and then we'll go back over it. Okay.
It blocked me when she seen I was taking your notes.
Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all hear. I'm gonna start here and let y'all hear. It's gonna be a minute, so I want y'all to hear.
Then let us hear it.
Hey,
Stop
Beth.
talking.
FaceTime call where she took notes, and at one point during the FaceTime call, Brandis caught her taking notes, and she had to stop. So a lot of this is via her memory. So what I need you guys to do is I need you to understand that
she got mad and blocked me when she seen I was taking them notes.
And she got mad at her and blocked her after she realized she was taking them notes. So what I need people to understand is some of this is from my guest's notes, and some of this is from her memory. So I'm still trying to get to the bottom of what's what in that timeline, because that timeline is still...
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit where she talks about what happened in that truck, okay? So I want y'all to hear this, okay?
Okay. They went home. All right, now when they got home, she said they, got the groceries and put them in the house. She didn't say nothing about them boys coming out there helping. She said they got the groceries, put it in. Someone did not get out of the truck, she said. And she said she went in and took a nap. I'm not changing nothing. I'm trying to remember, exactly what she said.
Right.
Said she went in and took a nap. And the next thing that she knew, she heard Candace out there screaming for Summer. Well, when she lay down and took a nap, before that, she said that she was going to get a hold of Don because she had to get permission from Don for everything she done to see if they should take Summer to the hospital.
Because Summer's condition...
Because she was... You're right. Okay. She left in the truck. Candace and Summer left in the truck. Okay, she don't know how long she was gone. And I said that before.
Okay, guys. Now, this goes back to the other day when you guys are embarrassed. Let me stop, please. I'm really not, but thank you. Anyway, moving on. The other day when I think it was the first stream I did this on, and I mentioned that my theory was that, whatever happened at the swimming hole. They were headed home. Grandis went and did her thing, that 2-minute scenario that I kept talking about that made no sense and all this shit. So I had said that there was a phone call made between Candace and Dawn, and Dawn, like they just said, Candace does nothing unless Dawn tells her to do it, okay? Kaboom. There's that. So I think there was the scream when Candace realized that Summer's not functioning, okay? She calls Dawn before she calls anybody else because that's the fear that Dawn has in her, okay? And therefore, thank you, Belinda, very much. You guys have to quit. Let me finish this, please. What was I trying to say now? See, you're throwing me all over the place. That Dawn, and that's when Dawn, I think, left his work site and called it his lunchtime, per se, which was what, 3 something, 4 something in the afternoon. That's not lunchtime for any job site. I don't care where you're at, unless you started work at noon, which that's not how that works. So anyway, when you so she takes off and goes to meet with him somewhere. Okay, that goes back to my theory, my scenario of what happened. Now that's where we're at with that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted you guys to hear this, because again, as you'll see coming up, how this turns things. So I'm going to go ahead and go on with it. And thank you all for the compliments very much.
She did not know how long she was gone. Next thing she knows, when she woke up.
Wait a minute, let me put the pause on you.
Oh, okay.
So, according to what Brandis told you, Candace proceeded to have a conversation with Don about whether to take Summer to the hospital based on her condition.
Yes, and she supposed to went and met Don to see if they was going to take Summer to the hospital, see if she was worse enough to take her to the hospital.
And I want to put the pause button on you because this is crucial, because when you talked to Grandis in August, she told you that this was weighing very heavily on her. And why did she tell you that it was weighing heavily on her? What was her reason that it was all weighing very heavily on her? That she was not told this version of events?
She was feeling guilty about it.
She felt guilty, right?
Yeah, she felt guilty about it, and she didn't have no one to talk to.
Like I said.
And why did she tell you she has not shared this version of events?
She didn't want to get in no troubles.
She didn't want to get in any trouble.
She didn't want to get in no trouble. She feels guilty because she should have said something to law enforcement when it first happened. But
that's the moral thing to do.
But she felt guilty for not telling this version to TBS.
Right.
And I want to let Corey, we got a peasant, we got a...
Okay, did y'all hear that? Did you all hear that? So they left the car. Yes, you all. According to what I heard, and we're going to go back and listen to this again, they forgot Summer in the car. Summer was not well in that car, and it was hot that day, you all, and they forgot Summer in that car. And I think that when Candace realized that Summer didn't get out of that car, by the time she found Summer was not well. And instead of her calling 911, she called Dawn. And Dawn freaked out. She met Dawn, and Dawn took Summer and did something with her. And Grandis does not know where Summer is.
Now, that being said, this rolls up another theory, guys, okay? Based on the facts of neglect that we've all seen with these parents and the things that have gone on, okay, I think that this could be a multitude of, or a combination of different things, okay? Now, the little girl was cold, okay? Remember this. 5 years old. I keep telling you guys this so that you can have this picture, because I know you guys all know what she looks like, okay? 40 pounds, very small framed, tiny little girl. Goes swimming in 70-degree water, gets cold. Now, I don't know if you guys paid attention in the picture that they showed. They put her on, they put like a long sleeve, like a warm-up outfit on her, correct? Okay, that's at the top, at least the shirt and some kind of gray sweatpants. That's what she had on. The shirt thing was like a warm-up jacket shirt type scenario. Long sleeved. June 15th in Tennessee, the temperature is going to be 85, 90. I could look it up, actually. I looked it up once, and I just don't remember. But it was in that realm, and, high humidity, blah, blah, blah. So, she was cold. They put the clothes on her. Okay, hours go by. She falls asleep in the truck. This is another theory is what I'm giving you guys. Okay, she falls asleep in the truck. They get home after they dropped Hunter off. They get home. They have to go do this or that. Grandis decides to go do what she's doing. Now, this is where the timeline scenario got to me because they changed the times around like 3 or 4 different times, okay? At one point it was 3:30 in the afternoon, then 4:30, then 5:30, and then at 6:30, and then she calls, somewhere around 6, between 6 and 7, and reports her missing. We don't know what the timeline was for sure. We don't know. I find it hard to believe that she left in the morning, left those boys there all day by themselves, and didn't do anything till 5:30 at night. I mean, I guess I could say I don't find it hard to believe because they're neglectful parents, but I think they reworked the timeline to fit their scenario, okay? Because they were saying that Don did this at 3, he left the site, and I'll go back and I'll get these facts for you guys. I'm just throwing this out there as a real quick scenario, okay? Now, there's a very good possibility that Candace got out of the vehicle. She was smoking THC out of that vape pen throughout the day when she was with H. They were drinking stuff, or maybe she didn't, but H did. But still, they were smoking this stuff. That any kind of marijuana or any form of that stuff, it incapacitates your ability to make good decisions and to think about things. Okay, you can forget shit. You can not do things the way you normally would, if you know what I'm saying. There's a very grand possibility that she got out of the truck, left Summer sleeping in the truck in long sleeve shirt, in sweatpants, went and did what she was doing, moved on with her, and a couple hours later, guess what? Summer's been in the truck, as tiny as she is, and got overheated. Candace realized, wait, where's Summer? She's not running around like she normally does. She was sleeping in the truck, goes back to the truck, and Summer's not waking up. There's going to be more said about that here shortly, I'm sure. But that's what I'm saying. There's another side of this there too. So she calls Dawn in a panic after she screamed, which is what Jody Sue, the neighbor, heard. Dawn says, well, no, you can't take her to the hospital because we'll go to jail, blah, blah, blah. Meet me here, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and either because the guy that worked for him had mentioned that they were laying concrete in the different houses he was working on in different areas. So there's either that, which, Kimberly just said. There's also, I'll be on for a little while, Amy. There's also, I feel, septic systems in these new homes. They're all in rural areas and they have septic systems. They could have very easily went and just thrown her in a septic system. They could have went and dug a hole. She's not very big on the property somewhere and put her in there. They could have taken her anywhere and disposed of her to hide this. This is what I'm saying. This is why I wanted you guys to hear this. So, hey, Cecilia, welcome, hon. Oh, it's okay. No worries. And I'll go back and reiterate a little bit of what I've been talking about. But thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And no worries, Amy. I probably will be. Looking forward to it. So let me go back to some of this here where we were and pick up from there, guys.
And so, do you all want me to let you all play that again? So, like I said yesterday, you all, and just like I told you all, there's no way Grandis was that. According to what Chris had said, what I thought, that Grandis was unsure about being at that water hole, told me that Grandis was not at that water hole. This lady just confirmed that Grandis was not at that water hole that day with Hunter and Candace. She was at the ER, just like I said yesterday that she was. So let's go back and listen to what she has to say again. I'm going to let y'all listen to it again, what she has to say.
We'll hear it one more time, I guess. That way Cecilia can hear it too.
I want it to be really loud and clear for you all to hear this, okay? Here we go.
Brandis's interview, the things that she's omitting, the lies by omission, and the things that she's just being blatantly deceptive about, in my opinion, and in my guest's opinion, who got to know her. And
Maybe not. Okay, so we're gonna move on from there. I guess it won't let me play it again. That's okay. But again, guys, that is another scenario theory that kind of made me think, like, no worries, Cecilia. And there was another couple things I had found I wanted to talk on. Something else got brought up too. Oh yeah, here's another thing too. Uh, there was something brought up about her swing. Um, that they keep going back to, that Summer was, always into her swing, about her swing, never left her swing, blah blah blah. And somebody brought another theory up too about the fact that maybe the little girl was on her swing and either swung out too far and like had an accident, hurt herself. Again, another scenario. I'm not really following that one, because I just to this point now, and I still have always thought, I don't think she woke up in that truck, and I think that's where it ended at there. And they went on and did what they did, and that's really my opinion and theory on this whole scenario. I think it all circles that right there, and I think that's where it was left at, unfortunately. What I want to know now is what they did with her, why they did this, and I want justice to be served for that child, because it's horrible. But there is a couple other things I was going to pull up and give you guys an option to hear. Just give me a moment. Like I said, I'm a little horrible at multitasking, but give me 1 second, please. Okay, now this was an interview that was done with. I'm not sure if you guys know who Benny Keys is, um, but he's another true crime investigative reporter per se. He's been close to Candace and Don Wells through this whole scenario. Believes that they're innocent in this, so on and so forth. So there was a form of an interview that he did that was recorded by somebody else, and nothing that you guys are going to hear has him in it. It's been edited out. And I hope you guys can understand this, because this woman always talks like she has shit in her mouth when she talks. You can barely understand her. Um, I'm going to clear it out as best as I can for you guys to hear. I hope you do hear. And there's a couple things that she says, and I want to see if you guys catch it. And this is, again, Candace Wells, Summer's mother, saying these things. So here we go. I'm just not used to this much quietness. Like the kids just were across the floor was
I am doing the best I can right now. But I'm praying to God and to everybody that whoever has my summer or our summer, my daughter's summer, bring her home and just let her come back to home where her mom and dad loved her. And I have so much for her. I want her to come home so bad. This fall, I give birth to 3 boys, 3 beautiful boys. And then summer come off. And she was the most beautiful, intelligent girl I've ever known in my life. And I miss her with everything I have. I don't have nothing, but I miss her with everything I have. So, and I don't like to say this, and I don't want to say this at all, but I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys because they're still here and still living and still in foster care, and I don't want to do that.
Freeze that right there. Okay. I don't want to say this. I don't want to do this, but I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys that are in foster care. Why in the hell would anybody, missing or not missing, say that about their own child unless you know that child's not coming back? Those boys are in foster care. They're living probably 300 times better than they ever have. They're safe. You know where they're at. You know what's going on. So why would you put the child that you don't know what's going on with her in supposedly that's missing to the side and worry about them? Does that make any sense to anybody sitting here right now? That comment alone tells me she knows that that child is no longer alive and breathing. She knows what happened to that child. She knows that that child is never coming back. And that, in a nutshell, is it. There it is. I know it was hard to understand what she was saying, but that very clearly states, I'm going to have to, and she said, I hate to say this, you have to make it sound good. I hate to say this, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to put Summer to the side and worry about my 2 boys, or 3 boys, I think it was, I'm sorry, that are in foster care, being very well taken care of, that are being watched daily, that are not being neglected, that she knows exactly are safe and sound. But you don't know where your missing child is, and you got to put that one to the side? What the actual fuck? Excuse the language. But come on. That's why I wanted you guys to hear that. Because that is proof to me, in anybody that has any common sense, that she knows everything. That she and her husband did this. Again, this is my opinion, folks. I'm a nobody. I'm not a detective. I'm not a police officer. I'm not with the FBI. But I have common sense. And I heard the words clearly come out of that woman's mouth. And that tells me right there. There's no other 2 ways to look at it, in my opinion. I mean, you guys are entitled to your opinions and theories, of course. That's what we're here for. So, exactly, Cecilia. Exactly. Like I said, I have 7 children. 7 children. Hey, Debs. Welcome, hon. 7 children, guys. And if one of them, if I went through this scenario, I never would, this would never happen to me. But, knock on wood that nothing bad would happen, period. But I think I just wouldn't. There's no way. There's no way in hell. Like I said, in anybody's mind with this whole thing going on to her, I get that she's flustered or whatever. You can say that, okay? Whether it be because she's trying to hide the truth or for whatever the reason is. The point is you don't say, I'm putting any of your children to the side and working on this one. Now I'm going to play some more real quick, but I just wanted to say that.
I can't.
So at the end, Candace says that she don't want to do that and she can't. That sounds like maybe she is struggling with the idea, but she has a decision that she needs to make. While I do understand where she's coming from as far as she needs to remain strong and continue doing the things that she needs to do for her boys and to get her boys back. What I don't quite understand and what I have the problem with is that she is saying that she needs to put Summer to the side because the boys are still alive. So in saying that this is because the boys are still alive, in so many words, she is saying that to her knowledge or beliefs, Summer is no longer alive, but she is deceased. It sounds to me like Candace does in fact know that Summer is dead and no longer with us. But what is your opinion? What do you take from this? What do you think Candace is saying here? Do you believe she has more knowledge of where Summer is and what happened to her than what we've been led to believe? Earlier in the same conversation, she says that she wishes whoever has her would just bring her back. Well, if your daughter's just missing and not dead, but she is still alive and just missing, then you don't set her to the side. You never give up on trying to find your missing daughter. Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video.
Now, like I just said, she's from the initial interview that I played the other day, and from what I've said to you guys, they've been saying from day one, they've been speaking about her in past tense. They both know what happened. Now, and I'm not gonna say that she killed her, okay, purposely. I'm not gonna say that. I can't imagine how that would even, how anybody, the mindset you'd have to do something. I mean, there's people that do it, there's definitely people that do it. But it's still the same thing. If it was an accident and you did not do something to fix that problem, to rectify the issue, to save your child's life, then yeah, you murdered your child. I'm sorry. But that small bit of a conversation tells me right there that she knows, which again, we'll go back to the Dr. Phil interview when they started questioning her about certain things that hit pressure points with her. And guess what? She freaked out once again and said, I feel like I'm being interrogated again, because she knows. Now, guys, I'm going to find this. I wish you guys could see it when I do this, but when Chris McDonough interviewed her, when they went down to the water hole, they keep calling it. It's a fucking horse pond that they drink from, but it's definitely not a place for a child to be swimming. There's the other problem I have with this. Yeah, you know what, stranger? That's absolutely true. And he says, for nobody that can see it, so let's say Summer's mom murdered her and gets away with it. She'll be looking over her back till the day she dies. Absolutely. Until she snaps, because nobody can take that. Nobody can carry that. I don't care who you are, what kind of a person you are, how dark you are. Nobody could carry that for the rest of their life. And I truly feel that if they were to get away with this, karma's going to come back and get them in one way or another. And that is a fact, guys. Um, Rebecca, I agree. It is eating her alive. This is what I was getting to. Anytime she goes down to that, and she has not been back there since that interview with Chris Madonna, okay? Anytime that she goes, has been to that water hole, and that was the last time was with that interview, she's got PTSD from it. You could see it all over her face. I know what PTSD is. I've got it. I've explained some of that to you guys already. She has PTSD for some reason being at that spot around that area. And I think that's because that's where whatever happened went down. She reflects back to that being the source of what happened to her child. She knows everything there is to know about this. And she is the one that I think is going to make the mistake of telling the whole thing. Unless Don finally cracks. He's only in jail for a short period of time for a DUI scenario, probation, violation. So there's not a deal that they could make with him to get him to flip this whole thing. It's just not going to happen, I don't think, unless he's got a conscience and he cracks. One of the two of them, and I think it's going to be her, is probably close to wit's end with this. I've watched her do her live streams. She's not there. Okay. This is why she has to have people help her, because one, she's not intelligent enough to do this on her own, and two, there's so much shit eating her alive right now. She cannot do this on her own, guys, and it's gonna pop. She's gonna blow like a top, okay, and it's all gonna come flowing out like lava. I'm telling you right now, and I hope it's sooner than later. And I hope that they have enough. How can I say this? Because it's going to kind of contradict what I'm thinking. That they have enough feeling in their body, enough conscience, enough compassion for anything, for a little to when this money does come to the surface, to say, okay, she's here. Please go get her. Please do the right thing, and please bury her, because they're gone. They're going to prison for the rest of their lives. But that's what I hope happens with this, because this is where I'm at with it. Everybody else has their own opinions, their own theories. There's a lot of people that do believe that she was kidnapped. There's no way. There's no way in hell. From the research I've done, from what I've followed, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, from what I've read, because I've been doing this for months upon months. I really didn't get that much involved in it until right like a month after she was gone. Because I honestly thought that it was just going to be that she, until I started getting into it, that she just walked off or something like that, because they were just neglectful parents. But now that I've seen everything and I've heard these multiple interviews, and I've watched, Candace do her live streams, I've watched the 911 calls, I've watched the parents interact with each other since she's been missing, everything I've seen, it all boils down to one of three scenarios that happened. And the biggest part of this at the end is they covered it up, they disposed of her body, and now they're hiding it. And that's it right there in a nutshell, guys. Again, my opinion, my theory. And I don't expect you guys to have to agree with me, but obviously the facts are on the table. And I know what I understand circumstantial evidence is a very hard thing to get conviction with, okay? And this is probably why TBI is sitting on everything. I mean, they have pretty much evacuated any other theories, okay, and dismissed any other, um, without saying it, dismissed, because the last thing that Lawson, the sheriff Lawson, had said was that, basically everyone is a suspect, nobody is excused from this, but without saying it, they have excused everyone else involved in this except for Dawn and Candace Wells. I'm sorry, Dawn Wells and Candace Bly. From what I understand, they're not legally married, so that's kind of weird, but whatever. Um, so that again, I just I don't know how else to put it. Um, it just it is what it is, guys. And there was something else I wanted you guys to see in here too. I just want to find the right part. Okay. Um. Yeah. Give me a moment here. I'm going to try to pull this out for you too. All right, guys. Now, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Okay. I think it's important to hear different aspects, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched this, heard this, and seen this stuff, for months now. I'm just trying to put together my version of a puzzle that I want you guys to see. And again, there's no video, and I apologize for that. As I continue to do these things, whether it be with this story or because I'm going to continue on with other stories because this is what I do. And I get my camera and all that stuff going, and I get the video tracks that I can load in and all that other stuff. You guys are going to see a lot more stuff, and it's going to be a lot more in depth. Okay. Right now, I have nothing but audio that I can give you guys. Okay. And I apologize for that deeply. But I wanted you guys to, you can't see it, but you can hear it in the way she's talking. When she did the interview with Chris McDonough, when they went back to the, I think it's Warrior State Park, where they have the water, the place where they went swimming, and that's where it's a horse pond basically for horses to drink out of, like I said. But anyway, I'm going to have you listen to parts of this interview with Chris McDonough, and you can hear in her voice, and I can explain her mannerisms to you guys if you haven't seen it, and explain what PTSD is if nobody knows how to recognize it too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play some of this here, and I'll try to edit it the best way I can for you guys to get the pieces I want you to hear. So.
Me neither. I mean, I am a person just like you. Yeah. That's right. That person out there in that jet ski. That's right. I'm no different than anybody else. We all make mistakes. There's no question about that.
Now, at this point, they're standing on the shore, looking out over the lake area where they were swimming. She was showing Chris McDonough how it was, where they were at, what was going on, and she had just said, I'm just like you, I'm just like anybody else, I'm just like these jet skiers out here, so on and so forth. And they're looking out over the pond together, facing it side by side, okay?
question about it. I can't even enjoy life without my kids. Help me understand what you mean.
Now she's talking to him, right? And she's staring off. He's turning now and facing her. She says, I can't even enjoy life without my kids. Please let me know if you guys can still hear me and hear this clearly. And she's just kind of like zoned out right now, staring off into the distance, looking over the water in a specific area, just staring. Like she's zoned out, okay? But she's still talking to him.
Like how these guys are out here having fun with their family and stuff. I can't even go in that water and pretend to even have fun because what's the point? She's not good to enjoy it with. You know, I lost a son. Yeah, your son. I know that hole. I know there's a depth of pain that nobody understands until you have been in that hole. Okay? And John, I've been in this hole twice now. Help me understand that. Well, once when my mom called me and said that they couldn't find my little sister Rosie. Okay. When she disappeared. And that was heartbreaking. But my daughter, that's twice as worse. Right. You might as well just rip my chest out, throw it out there for the fish to eat because it's worthless without her.
Okay, so there is 150% for sure PTSD being shown in this video in interview because the woman, like I said, she just zones out completely, stares at the water, and she's just rambling on. And he's trying to interact with her, and she won't look at him for the longest period of time. She definitely will not look him in the eyes. Anybody that knows anything about body language, your eyes are a big deal when you're trying to tell somebody something, keep the truth from them, however you want to talk about it. Okay, it's a huge deal. Multiple times during this interview while she's talking to him, and he actually gets her because he's a retired police officer. He wants her to look at him. That's how they do interviews because he can read that. Okay. And with what I've learned over the years doing this type of stuff, you learn how to read people's body language and stuff like that. And he's trying to get her, as he's talking to her, to look at him. She won't. She keeps looking at the water. So when she finally does turn to look at him, every time she says something to him, she looks to the left. Every time. That's a lie. That is a blatant lie. When somebody you're talking to face does not look you in your eyes. Now, some people, I will say, have issues with doing that. Okay, that's fine. Every time this woman opens her mouth to say something, she looks to the left. Every single time. Google what that means, and you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? And again, she just seems on edge being there the whole time. She's like, normally she's real like blah, 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 blah when she talks to people. She was like almost like hyper to a sense while she was talking to him. Okay? Which shows a whole different scenario. And it, like I said, every time she answers a question of his, she's looking to the left every time. And you guys can go look at these videos and it'll prove it to you. I wish to God I could show it to you. But again, one more thing that says to me, she knows. And here's the thing with this, guys. When I started thinking that she has the ability to, because we all said before, I've said before at least, and you know, if I'm wrong for saying this, I'm sorry, guys, but it's just how I feel. She's not very intelligent, okay? She's not a very smart person. You know, she's kind of slower, I think. I believe she has the mentality of a 15-year-old, which is why she thought it was okay to hang out and drink with a 15-year-old kid. I think there's more to that than what has been shown too with him and her, as weird as that sounds, but that's a whole different scenario. So, that being said, I think that shit, I just lost my train of thought when I went there. My apologies. But I think that, okay, when I realized that she's has the ability to cover this up, to lie about this, and I'd like to find it for you guys to hear it. There was a phone call that Candace made to Dawn's sister, okay? And it was a clear cut phone call. Candace calls his sister. She's crying. She's a complete blubbering mess. And she says, they came and took Donnie. He's gone. They took him from me. He's gone. The cops came, and his sister's going, who, Candace? What's going on? And she was panicky, right? And the police came and took Donnie. They wouldn't tell me where they took him. They wouldn't tell me why. They just came and took him, and they said that you'll find out, blah, 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 blah. Does all this whole thing, this entire fucking phone call. And then it comes out that it was a hoax. It was a joke. Who in the fuck jokes like that? Who jokes that way, first of all, okay? But I believed it when I heard her doing it. The sister believed it. When anybody else that's heard that call believed it, the police believed it. She's that believable. That tells me manipulation and lying are very good things that she can do. So why, if she could do that, then she can hide this. Now, again, that being said, she may be able to hide it now. It's going to come back. I'm sure it's at her now. It's eating her and eating her and eating her and eating her, okay? Every day, I guarantee you, this woman wakes up and goes to bed, this is eating at her because she is still human. And I don't care how dark of a person you are. It's going to come back and get you. And it's not going to let you just let it go away. It's just not. It won't. It's not going to let you make it. It's not going to let you throw it on the garbage. It's not going to let you wash it down the sink, flush it down the toilet. It will come back and it will eat at her until eventually she blows. So, now there's one more thing too. I want to pull up. Okay, now there was another theory that guys, and that's what others are saying too, right? Yeah, there was another theory, and Don did and when he did an interview, he was walking around their property and he was showing different things. I mean, not to mention that the property was just disgusting and it was covered with trash and garbage and junk, which is, it's kind of a dangerous place for kids to play. But I'm trying to find this one scenario. This is just another theory that somebody had thrown out there, but there was a refrigerator that sits on the property that Don was showing during the interview, and said that Summer liked to play in it all the time. Now, we all know that a refrigerator is a dangerous place for a child to play. This was an older refrigerator that had one of those lock and latch handles on it that you have to lift up to open the fridge on. Okay, if she climbed in there, pulled the door shut, the door locks. You can't open it from the inside. Then what? That's why when you have refrigerators that you get rid of, they ask you to open the doors up or take the doors off, turn them around, blah blah blah. However you do it. But anyway, this was just, and I was just throwing this out there real quick too. It's another quick theory that I still stick to the one I believe in, but that she was playing in that fridge and got stuck, suffocated. They found her when they started looking for her, and I can just imagine too, Candace opening the door to that fridge and finding her in there and screaming. There's the scream again, calling Dawn. Well, this is what happened. What do we do? Bring her to me. They dispose of her. Well, what are we supposed to? What do we do? Well, we can't say anything because CPS is already on our backs. We have to cover this up. You see what I'm saying? There's multiple ways you can look at this scenario. I still think that I still don't think she made it out of the truck. I really don't. And I was trying to find something else. I think I touched. Yeah, I did. We talked about that already once, but there was another scenario that. Yeah, that was another fact, Celia, and it's just their entire property is like like a danger zone for children, and that's where their kids play daily. I just don't get it. Okay, now where's it at? There was a scenario. I think it was 2 months ago. Nobody has touched on it, and I think they would have figured it out by now. But it got brought up that they had found human remains 1.5 miles from their home, and people were saying, "Is this summer? Is this summer?" But nobody said anything else about it, so I really don't think. Oh, um, she's not getting those kids back. Just so you guys know, there's no way in God's green earth that those kids will be put back in that home with those people. If she gets away with this, if they get away with this, those kids will not go back there. I don't care what the hell they do; those kids are not going back. They can find they can find them completely innocent of everything that's gone on. Those kids are not going back to that house after all this. There's no way in hell. And if they do, whoever runs CPS needs to be looked at real hard. But they're not going back. I'm sorry. I know that in my heart that there's too many arrows that point to them being 100% um, involved in this. I'm sorry, Amy. A link as far as what, hon? Which one are you looking for? A link for me or for something altogether different? Oh, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. One moment. Give me one moment. Okay, let's see here. No, that didn't work. Give me 1 second, Amy. I'm sorry. All right, Amy, I went ahead and DM'd it to you. You should be good to go. Once you pop in there, I'll pull you up there, guys. Thanks so much for being patient with me today, guys, with my having to pause things and whatnot, but I just want to make sure you guys are getting a clear picture of everything. So, no worries, Amy. Take your time. Hello.
Hiya,
How are you today?
I'm really good. Very good.
Good to know. Good to hear.
I just wanted to hop up because I was listening to those videos that you shared of Candace speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what fascinates me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody in the chat who's a parent can kind of agree with this as well. If anything happens to your children, if they're in your care or they're not in your care at the time something happens, you'll always take responsibility. You'll always say, oh, why did I drop them off there? Or if I did things differently, or you'll always blame yourself regardless of who was the actual blame. And she always distanced herself
Every
from
time.
anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Every time. I've now I've noticed that multiple times. I haven't really touched on that, but it all goes into what I've been saying. And every time she distances it, she separates herself completely from it.
She does.
It,
Yeah.
it it's so it's I don't even know how to like what kind of a person. This all goes back to. I'm gonna have to say that it starts from maybe how she was raised. Like there's something in her life that made her this way to begin with. Okay, maybe multiple things, but then we go back to the scenario with her sister. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, she goes missing, and then there was a conversation. I wish there was a recording of it. Um,
It was her sister's anniversary,
yeah,
and her mum was upset, and they were
there you
having a
go.
little bit of a gathering. And she said to H's mum, she said to her mum in front of H's mum, why the fuck are you upset for? That bitch is dead or something like that, wasn't it?
Exact word for word, right? And she said,
Yeah.
"Why would you say that? And how do you know that?" Or I think H's mother said, how do you know that?" And she said, "Because I killed her."
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that's exactly what H's mum said. That
There's
happens.
something there, right? There's something dark about this woman.
And I believe that if anybody wants to hear that for themselves, I believe that that was with the Chris McDonough interview on the porch.
Yeah, yeah. That was one version of it. There was a couple other that I had found, but there's something dark about her. There's something somewhere dark about her. Okay, which would make me if she did, and her sister. This is my thought. Candace is not an attractive woman. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You know the way she takes care of herself. She's just not. And her younger sister was actually an attractive girl, and
yeah, she
I
was.
right, I can see her being jealous because there's been multiple things brought up about a jealous streak that she has with her in different variations of things,
Yeah,
being jealous of other people, and I can see her being after that comment comes out. I can see her being jealous of her sister being a prettier girl, getting more attention, this and that, and something happening.
yeah.
Um, and so there's that scenario that leads into this scenario. She's a dark person.
And
There's
don't
something
forget, Miss Rose Bly was able to keep hold of her children, where Candace's two children in a previous relationship got taken away.
exactly.
That there is also a massive jealousy when you see your little sister. I believe it
Being
was a little sister, wasn't it? It was a younger sister
it's her younger sister, yeah,
being in
yeah,
a stable marriage and having her children that's actually living with her. That and she's Candace just had her kids taken away. That's a trigger.
exactly, exactly. And her sister's living a normal life, doing certain things that I mean, she had her issues too, but she's still living in a stable relationship based life with her children, a normal family life that Candace is not living. uh, that triggers jealousy there. Their appearances, that triggers jealousy there. You know, Rose is getting the attention that Candace seeks. That's a trigger there. All of these things. So if it was easy for her to do something like that there, and she brought up that interview with Chris in that interview with Chris Madonna when they were down by the watering hole,
Yeah,
that I think I had played for you guys. I don't know if that part of it was heard or not, but she said, "This has happened to me twice. I've been in that hole twice. First with my sister, my baby sister, and now
yeah,
my daughter." And then she made it, of course, but just imagine it's so much worse with my daughter. Blah blah blah. I don't care whether it's your child, your sister, your mother, your aunt, your uncle, your grandmother, your neighbor. If you can be that way with one person, you can be that way with anybody.
absolutely. Because it's buried in your soul to be like that.
Right. There she has a
You know.
that's right. She's a dark soul. I'm sorry, but she does.
So let me pick your brain on something for a minute,
Mm,
and we kind of touched on this the last time I was on the panel. So I just want to hear what you think. So the theory about her being in the car and passing away in the car, yeah, I
yeah.
think everyone thinks that. My thing. I think she got out of the car and the
Right.
drowning carried on until she got into the house. So, in your opinion, how would you explain the dog catching a scent down the dog trail of Summer?
Well, I thought
That,
about that.
that have been
Um,
from earlier on in the day, or
right. It could have been at any time. Well, being that she lives there, okay, in that home, who knows how many times a day she's been up and down that dog trail. Being that they're
yeah,
not watched, they Dawn made a comment in the initial interview that said she likes to be outside. That's her downfall.
yeah,
Why is that a downfall?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Why
so
is it a downfall when apparently she was supposed to be taken from inside the house?
right, okay, so now going with that, he also made that same sentence. He made a comment stating, that multiple times that we had to tell the brothers, "Why'd you leave Summer out there? Go get her. Why is she out there by herself? Go get her. Where's she at? What's she doing?" So they're not. That proves that they don't pay attention. First of all, so that going back to what you said, how many times a day did she travel up and down that dog trail?
Yeah. So then that means that that scent wasn't necessarily a hit, was it?
No, that's why I
Yeah.
didn't really follow that too much because of that, because she lives there, she's there all day long outside, because that comment, she likes to be outside, that tells me that the child is probably never in the house. And
Yeah.
so all over the yard they've showed videos of her chasing her brothers around on motorcycles and bikes, and playing with them, and that running around the yard swinging on the swing. So she's probably gone up and down that dog trail millions of times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Candace tried to say that she tried to make them fear being out there because of bears and snakes and whatever the hell else. I never once saw a video where those kids looked scared to be outside playing in the yard.
Oh no, they were definitely outdoor children.
So you know what I mean. And the parents, they're playing in refrigerators, they're playing on the hill, they're playing in the sheds, they're playing on trucks and old farm equipment, blah 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 blah. So I could almost promise you that child went up and down that dog trail 10, 20, 30 times a day, just running
Yeah.
back and forth, running back and forth. I'm sure that she had to be yelled at multiple times to stay away from the road. She's a very hyperactive child. I mean, all of these things. So I really did not put a lot into that scent thing there, because like I said, she lives there and plays there constantly. So
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a real good hit personally.
Can I
Good
ask you a
morning.
question? And this goes back to your medic days, and I don't even know if you've had if you'd have an answer to this. But
No
when
problem.
someone passes away, how long does it take for their body to start changing? Because I always wondered, are they called kaffir dogs or something? What's the dogs that pick up scent of deceased people?
Okay. Good morning, by the way, Morticia. And Morticia says good morning to everyone. Okay. Depending on the point of death, or the type of what the body passed away from, it can be different in some senses. Okay. Like rigor mortis will set in within an hour, within some people, okay, to a couple hours. Now, and what rigor mortis is, just in case somebody doesn't know, is when the body starts to stiffen, the joints start to lock up. There's an evacuation of bodily fluids that happens at times, things like that. Okay. Okay. Now, as far as you were asking me, as far as the scent, is that what you were
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
where a smell would start to show up?
Well, when the dogs are able to pick up the scent, how long does a body have to be deceased for?
Well, as far as cadaver dogs or just regular search dogs?
Cadaver dogs.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote this, but from what I understand, it can be within an hour to an hour and a half of the body being deceased and evacuation and partial rigor mortis setting in, that they can smell that, and they can smell that. Like if there was a hole dug, somebody was buried in a hole, I think up to 6 foot down.
Okay. And is it possible that I can't even say it, rigor mortis can set in when somebody is alive but dying?
And in some senses, yes, you can have like your joints. Your joints can give you I don't know how to put it. Like, again, it depends on the type of death that happens, or the I'm trying to think of the right word to say. Like your joints can start to lock up, your arms can start to pull in as you're passing away. But it depends on what it is. Like my friend passed away in April of cancer, and she started to pull in before she passed.
Yeah.
Um, you know, now Morticia is saying immediate, based on that question, and that is true. That once the body is deceased, there can be uh, cadaver dogs can start to pick up a scent, but to get the real strong, you know what I'm saying, like to where they can actually take a trail with it.
Yeah.
Um, it takes, like, from what I've been told, like an hour to an hour and a half. But yes, it is an immediate thing. That's true. And then Morty also said, "Don't the body start breaking down?" I mean, yeah, yeah, everything starts to, because what it is what happens is the heart starts pumping, the oxygen does no longer go through the body, so we need oxygen to live, and the blood saturation has to be full of oxygen to survive. So anything, if you take, like, I hate to use this, okay, and it's kind of disgusting, but if you take a steak out of the refrigerator and you lay it on the counter to you're going to use it later, if you've noticed, within moments of it laying on that counter, it starts to discolor, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so, like, eventually, if you leave a steak lay on the counter for 3 to 4 hours or so per se, by the time you go back to it, it started off like that red color. You're going to go back, it's going to be a grayish, greenish,
Yeah.
brownish color.
Yeah.
So any kind of, like, tissue will break down very quickly. Okay, but the human body has organs, blood inside of it, which kind of, like, protects it per se. This is why they go and they will do. They drain the bodily fluids, the blood, so on and so forth. Okay, and then they use formaldehyde to preserve the body from doing that, because it has to go through the funeral and so on and so forth. So that's why they do that.
The reason why I asked about the rigor mortis was because there's two pictures of Summer asleep in the truck. I'm going to use the words asleep on the milk jugs.
Yeah.
There's two pictures of her. You can tell the difference between the two pictures because her hands are positioned differently.
Yep.
And in one of them, it looks like they took a picture when they found her asleep or something else. And then the second picture where her hands are turned, it looks like they took her pulse. Her hands turned like the way you'd take someone's pulse.
Which is very possible. Yeah, absolutely. When you turn it inward, I get what you're saying. Yes.
And that's why I was asking, how long does it take to set in, rigor mortis to set in?
And that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Right. She could have started turning already, is what they call it, turning, where she turns inward with her body. Okay.
Yeah.
And tightens up. And I hate to even talk about her that way, but it's a fact.
Yeah, because from the river that they went to, or the lake that they went to, then they went off and they dropped H home, and then Candace got out and spoke to H's mum for a bit. So I was just trying to work out the time frame of when the body starts changing, especially rigor mortis starts setting in.
Yep.
And that's what. And then you said a child's locked in a car, and the heat and everything like that. And then I thought, actually, maybe the trail was from earlier on that day that the dogs picked up, and maybe she actually did pass away in the truck, and she was already starting to. I mean, if you look at her, like you said, her fingernails and stuff like that, it doesn't look. It doesn't look like a healthy pinkish little girl with rosy cheeks or nothing like that. It does. It's so fucking horrible. It makes me so angry. It really does.
Oh, everybody, and it's a very hard thing to talk about, but it's these are facts that are shown that. Welcome back, Flower. No worries. It's sad. It's beyond sad. Okay, and I cannot fathom any of this. I really can't. And again, that's why I added this other theory in. I strongly feel that the child never made it out of the vehicle. Okay.
Yeah.
And I went with what you were talking about, and other people had mentioned about that trail. Maybe she went down the trail, somebody took her, so on and so forth. I can't stick to that at all, because again, she lives at the home. She plays at the home constantly, day after day after day after day. That smell is going to be there regardless. And
how do they know what smell is what from what time? Yeah, you're right in what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. And it's nothing against your theory, not at all, but it's just the fact
it's about talking about different scenarios and breaking them down and trying to get as close as you can to the truth.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what this is about. And I cannot go past what I've said. I'm going to stick to it, and I'll give it two different versions. Like I said, there's the version that she dry drowned in the truck and never woke up, and her mother found her eventually. And then the other version I'm going to go with, because that's very hard not to picture in my mind. Excuse me. And that the mother was smoking, the vape pen that had THC in it, and was forgetful to begin with and forgot her child in the car. She's wearing a sweatshirt, sweatpants. It's 85, 90 degrees in Tennessee in June with 100% humidity, and the child expired due to overheating.
They left in the car. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's a possibility that I think as well.
yeah, they weigh, both of them weigh a lot on both sides. So there was the one side of it was either dry drowning or a combination of dry drowning with hypothermia because the core temperature dropped so much, or the opposite with the overheating in the vehicle. Either one of those, I'm going to almost guarantee you guys 98.9% is what's going to come out that's what it was. When and if, I pray to God, they find her body in one piece and they can do an autopsy, I believe that's what's going to happen. I think that's where it's going to go to, and I'm going to stay with that from here on out.
And I'll tell you why that makes sense as well, what you've just said. If you remember, Candace called the boys to get the shopping out, the groceries out of the truck.
Yeah.
Do you remember us saying that? That's in our interview. She said she got the boys, she called the boys to help her in with the groceries. And the boys would have took the milk and shut the door and left Summer in there thinking the mum was going to go back out and get her.
Exactly, because it's not their responsibility to take care of a child.
See what I mean? So that makes perfect sense why the mother wouldn't have got Summer out of the car when she was taking the milk, because she actually told the kids to take the milk.
And then if she's got the boys doing that, maybe she didn't. Maybe there is some slight truth to her going over to her mother's trailer to help her with something.
Yeah. And then forgetting Summer, thinking Summer was already out of the vehicle.
Yep, and if she's under the influence,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That all flows in a perfect line to me.
And when she got back into the house after helping her mum with her leg, you don't even know what she was doing in there. Did she put dinner on? Like, how long was she at home for before she realised Summer wasn't actually there? Because she would have heard the children playing or watching the telly and talking amongst themselves and not realising Summer actually wasn't a fucking part of that.
I have another theory on that too. I have because again, she was using that vape pen. She had a long day. She did this. She did that. My theory, because it was brought up a couple different ways, that Grandis was talking about being tired in the one video, and Candace mentioned, yeah, me too. I have a feeling that Candace may have gone inside the house and laid down for a nap. And
yeah, well, that's what the nan did apparently. So it would, you know what I mean? It would make sense as well. It's just fucking disgusting. It really is disgusting.
100%. It is absolutely disgusting.
It's crazy. It's the poor little girl, and she's so beautiful. She's such a beautiful little girl. And I don't know how they could have. I don't know how they could have done that. Covered it up, not owned up to it.
And here's my thing. At this point, for the sake of your child's soul, for the sake of your soul, for closure, just admit it, explain the mistake you made, because that's what I think it was. I don't think it was done maliciously, okay?
Yeah.
It was a mistake that should have been resolved the correct way in the beginning. And once they got into it, they got too far into it. They couldn't go back now. They couldn't change it up. They made very bad decisions on it. Admit to it, get it out of the way, do what you got to do, and move on with life. Whether it's good or bad, do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Grandma said when she woke up, when she looked out, Candace's vehicle was gone.
Yep.
And she thought that she was, it just all fits into line. It's the closest possibility out of what we're after hearing, out of all the bullshit we're after hearing off that fucking cunt of a mother. And I'm so sorry for saying that on your live stream.
No,
people like that make me sick. I don't know how all them cowards that live around that area could stay inside their homes knowing that tramp is up that hill on her fucking own. Because if that was my neighbor, I'd go through doors to get to her.
Every one of them that they've talked to has said that they're involved. They know they're involved, and they don't like them. So do the thing, do the right thing, say something. I mean,
Get her
if
out
you
of there. Do you know, intimidate the fuck out of her and get her the fuck out of there.
well, she's talking. Whether she's done it for sure yet or not, there's rumors that she's moving from that house, and I'm thinking, why? Why would you move out of that house? That
Yeah.
house was Dawn's dad's house. They own it. They own the property. Why the hell would you move out of there? There's a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there any public records over in America that would explain why I call them social services over in England here because
Yes, you're
I'm
more
Irish,
efficient.
but I live in England. But is
Right.
there any public records that would explain why social services was going to take the children anyway? Because I believe the day after
Yeah.
there was yeah, and I'd love to know what that was about because I doubt it was just having a messy house. There
No,
has to be more to it than that.
there was multiple things that were brought up and brought into that scenario as to the reasons why CPS was involved. They had been involved multiple times for different reasons, I was told. I don't think that it's public record to be able
Okay.
to see it. Unfortunately, it should be. Maybe that would make these parents start taking better care of their children if they knew that the whole world could see what they're doing. But I don't
Yeah.
believe that all of it is 100% public record. And I think in this case that it's been kept under wraps specifically because of what's going on. So therefore, they can't, even if it is public record, they're not allowing it to be viewed at this point.
Yeah, I'd love to know what them little boys said when they got interviewed. Do you know that? Because
Me too. Me
yeah,
too. I know that, and you know, kids are you hear the phrase from the mouth of babes.
yeah,
Um, they're painfully honest and painfully truthful in a lot of senses. So
absolutely.
I would love to hear that. I mean, more than you know, because I know that the kids there's that I know they've seen things, I know they've heard things, I know that there's things that have gone on around them that shouldn't, and just daily life for those two as parents. But it's just it's a shame. It really
Very
is.
dysfunctional household, wasn't it? Them children didn't have a chance. As soon as they crawled out of her, they had no hope in life with her being the mother.
Right. Exactly. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta grab something. Ooh. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to get something to drink.
That's all right.
Yeah,
But
and
I only wanted to pop up for a second just to go over a few things with you. I am going to jump off because it's 4:30 over here. It's 24 minutes past 4 in the daytime, and my kids have just got back in from school, so I'm going to jump off, go back into the chat, and I'm going to stick dinner on.
yes,
Because
ma'am.
if my kids ain't fed at a certain time, there's a routine. They'd be like, "What the fuck is mum doing on YouTube?"
That's correct. That's how it works.
Yeah, they'd
Too.
be like, "Oh, you get off that and stick the dinner on, please.
That's it.
You've got
That's
mummy
it.
duties."
What are you making tonight, Miss Amy?
I was thinking about making lamb chops, some roast potatoes, and some mixed vegetable at the side with a peppercorn gravy.
Damn, that sounds good. God.
Yeah, that's because I took the meat out of the freezer this morning to
Mm,
let it defrost for dinner. So that's what I'm gonna do now. It's a quick, simple dinner. It won't take me long. But if the
right.
kids don't start smelling dinner in a minute, they're gonna be like, "Mum, is there something wrong? Your dinner's normally ready by a certain time."
Absolutely. Do your thing and do what you got to do, man. Thanks for jumping up here. I appreciate your input and love having you on here every day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Absolutely. We love Miss Amy. She's so entertaining. That does sound good, though. I love the different cultural differences with the way people prepare their meals and whatnot, too. It's so interesting to me because over here, lamb chops, is like a gourmet thing. Here, it's just one of those scenarios, and it's probably a regularity over there. I love that. Um, and I'm sorry I didn't get to say if I didn't, Morty, I apologize if I didn't say goodbye. But thanks for jumping on here, and I appreciate you. So yeah, guys, that's where I'm at as far as this scenario. That's what I believe, and I'm gonna have to stick with that because there's really nothing else that makes sense in that situation. So, excuse me, guys. It makes to me it makes 100% sense for everything I've looked at, every interview I've watched, and I've watched and listened and read everything that has to do with this case that I can find. Okay, I'm gonna leave it in the to those two scenarios, and I can almost 98% promise you that one of those two scenarios is going to be the end result. Now, where they took her, what they did with her, that I'm not 100% sure on. There's a multiple options with that I've come up with that could be done. But again, like I said with Miss Amy up here, that I would love nothing more than to see them do the right thing. At this point, that's where we're at with it, and that's what needs done. So, does anybody have anything that they would like to throw in there with that, or about anything you'd like to say, or um, yeah, in the United States, as far as children are concerned, everything is protected, and any records they have to keep sealed for that fact because of kids. Children have to be protected. So, I think in this case, though, it has to be sat on even more though because of the scenario. So, well, that made me hungry. Her saying that. Let me see. Is there anything else that I needed to touch on? I agree, Belinda. It doesn't make any sense at all. At all. I do not understand it. I never will. Especially your own child that you gave birth to. That's the hard part for me to deal with. It really is. Well, guys, I think unless anybody else has any input with this, there's some other things that I need to go through and look at too that I may just save for tomorrow. Again, I want to thank anybody that has donated to the Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo that I've got streaming down there. I still do have it down there, of course, but I appreciate anybody that's donated to that. I appreciate you guys all being here too, to go through this with me and to talk this over. And, coming up with whatever theories or opinions everybody has on this. It's a sad thing, but I think in the end, we're all going to find out that I'm pretty sure that it's what I think it is. And like I said, I hope at this point that the parents decide to do the right thing. At the very least, I think they owe that to their child. And take the consequences as they come and move on. It's sad to put it that way, but these are facts, guys. They're just facts. Did anybody have any more input in regards to it, or anything else you'd like to say or add to? Good morning, Miss Happy. How are you? I'm glad you popped in here. I did want to let you know that the other evening there were some conversations had in regards to politics, and I was informed that there was some things that were said that it had upset you. In regards to that, I wasn't really seeing it. I apologize for not noticing it at that point, but I did deal with it, and there will be no conversations about politics in here anymore. Everybody has their own opinions and their own, issues that they have with politics, and everybody is owed that right to have their feelings on them. I'm kind of neutral because I don't really like how things are going right now with our country, so I just kind of stay neutral to everything. But each and every person has the right to their own opinion. Nobody should tell them what they think is right or wrong. So I will no longer allow political talks in my streams due to that. So I do apologize if anybody in the stream said something to you, Happy, that was oppressive or offensive to you. So I just wanted to make sure. That's the last thing that I want to happen in here, is for anybody to be upset or feel uncomfortable or anything. And that's, the biggest part of this is I try to make it a place where everybody can be comfortable and enjoy themselves. So I just wanted to make sure of that. So that's good to know. Ouch. But thanks for popping in, Happy. I appreciate that. Yeah, politics and religion can turn to very bad conversations at times. And, like I said, everybody has an opinion, but nobody has the right to tell anybody that their opinion's wrong, whether you believe it or not. That's just not how that works. And I would never want anybody to feel upset about that or be unhappy in regards to that. So we just won't do it. And therefore, it can't happen. But I'm glad that there was nothing that upset you, Happy. Thank you for clarifying that for me. But at that point being, is there anything anybody, like I said, that wants to add to that? Or did you guys have any just general questions for me in general at all about anything? Even if it doesn't pertain to the case here, were there any questions just for me personally? I'm gonna be checking out a few other ones. I was like I said, I was very, very minimally following the Orrin and Orson Welles case. Um, but that's kind of come to a head now, and I think that's going to get pretty interesting here pretty soon. And there's another one that was brought to my attention that I had glanced at the other day. Um, trying to think of the last name. It was a weird last name, but that case is pretty crazy, and I was kind of looking into that a little bit more. Um, I've mostly concentrated on this one. I've spent a lot of time on this one. The Lord, what is her last name? I think the first name is Rebecca actually, and the last name is Shabiznis. I think it's the Shabiznis case is really really whacked out. And I was going to start looking into that one. Like I said, I think the Wells case is at a point now where they're just going to start prosecution. There's not much to do to figure that one out, but I do hope that it goes correct. I would like for the boys to be found so that they can be put to rest the right way, and some of the details need to become valid. Um, but yeah, I'm going to be looking into that business case a little bit more. Um, I hate to take my time away from this one until something is there. But I will be talking about some others, guys. I will be pulling it up. Like I said, once I get everything running right and everything working correctly, I'll be able to pull up multiple things on here. Oh, I know. Um, yeah, Molly is definitely, and so is Andra. Um, Benny is on their side. There's a couple other people that most people in this scenario are going at Dawn and Candace. So Molly goes hard at anybody she goes at. That's just her temperament and her personality, and I respect it to an extent. Molly doesn't. She does some things that I'm not comfortable with too. I'm not very happy with the outcome of some of the stuff that she's pulled, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, as long as her point that she's trying to get to is the same scenario, then yeah. The Delphi murders, I did look into that one a little bit, and I think they are um, still searching in that aspect too. Yeah, eventually at one point, guys, there's going to be a lot that I'm going to be putting out here for you guys to help me with and to go over with everybody. This one has just had so much of my focus because it bothers me so badly that I have a feeling that if it's hard to say it like this, but if I had the ability, I would just walk right up to the two of them and have them arrested. Say, okay, here's the deal. We know what happened. You tell me which way it went, how it happened, why you didn't do the right thing. Show us where she's at. Let's deal with this, get done with it, and put it to rest and move on to the next scenario. That's what I'd like to do, of course, but we can't do that because this is America and that's not the way it works. So, but yeah, I'm going to, as this is working out well, I'm going to continue to do this more and more and more. And there's going to be a lot more that's going to compile with it. Again, once I get this computer thing dealt with, I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me say that. I'll be able to share pictures and audio files and, interact with a lot more and have you guys interact with it as well. As you guys can tell, I'm very interactive with my chat. I don't ignore it. I don't blow it off. I'm not one of those guys. Even when I have a panel, I still highly interact with my chat because that's important to me. That's what this is all about. So, I don't want anybody to feel left out. I don't want anybody to feel like I'll never ignore you guys. So that's important to me. And that's the whole point in this stream that I do. Is to interact with you guys and have you guys interact with me on these scenarios. Hey Pam, welcome, hon. Thanks for being here. So, like I said, once I get this up and running the right way, there's going to be a lot of files that I'm going to be sharing out onto the screen for everybody to go through with me to, interpret. And there's going to be multiple cases that we're going to be going over, so on and so forth. So, if you guys are down for that, then I am looking forward to doing it with you. Most definitely. Nah, and I've tried, I hope you guys have noticed that I do definitely pay attention to the chat. I don't just sit here and let it scroll past me and go on with what I'm saying. I try not to do that. I know there's been times that I've gotten involved in what I'm talking about or from looking at something, um, that a couple things have gone by, but I usually try to, you know, respond at anybody's comments that they that they bring up, let you know, and I do pay attention. A lot of people don't do that, and it used to drive me nuts before I even did this because I've been watching YouTube for years, of course, going into different streams and watching without saying a word. And then I'd start typing, and I realized like they don't care who I am. They don't want to see what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. So yeah, yeah, Melonhead definitely does not pay attention to his chat. Every now and then he'll look at it, laugh, say something dumb, and move on to what he's doing. So that's not the way this works. This is here for you guys as well as for me, for us to interact together, not for you to do your thing and me to do my thing. That's not what this is about. So I highly, highly believe in interacting with your chat, because if I could have all you guys up on the panel at one time, that would be, opportune because we could all talk together, but then nobody would hear anything because everybody would be talking to each other at the same time. But I do want, I've said it before, all of you go, I can hold multiple people up here, and you guys are more than welcome to come up here at any time to talk, any one of you. I've said that. Some people are shy with it. I get that. Some people just don't want to do it. I get that too. There's some people that just will watch the stream and don't even go into the chat either. So be it. That's fine. But you guys are all welcome on panel. I don't hold any bars with that. I don't expect nobody is less than. We're all equals here, and I want to stress that. I keep it that way for a reason, because you see what happens in some of these streams where, well, we can only have this person, and this person on panel because they're the only ones that deserve it. Yeah, I don't believe in that. We're all equals here. I just happen to be the person that's supporting the stream. That's all it is. So, does anybody have any other questions for me, personally? Me specifically, or about what we were talking about today at all? Okay, doesn't look like it. Well, guys, with that being said, I don't think I'll be doing. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, Happy. I'm sorry. There's a couple hiccups in there. I apologize for. Like I said, I'm struggling with my equipment and stuff right now, so I hope it works for you the way it did for everybody else, and I hope you get what I'm trying to show by the things that I've brought out today and where I went with everything. So, but yeah, what I was saying, I don't think I'll be doing anything tonight. So everybody can take a break. And, unless somebody needs me to or wants me to really bad, then of course I'll do that for you guys. But besides that, I think it's going to be quiet with me tonight. And I'm going to take that time to go through some other stuff that I wanted to look at with this. And I want to go actually check out a couple other cases too. And spend, some family time too. So, that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I do want to thank every one of you guys once again for being here with me this morning. As always, like I said, it means more to me than you guys probably understand. Thank you, Rebecca BBY, Stranger Than Fiction, Belinda McNeely, once again. Strike first, strike hard as always. Miss Amy, and thank you so much, Miss Amy, if you can hear me, for coming on panel. I love talking with you, whether it be comments or on stream. Absolutely love it. Okay, let me see here where we at. Kimberly, we love you, dear. Absolutely. Thanks for coming in. And I want to make sure I get everybody in here. John Suggs, thank you, sir. I appreciate the compliments this morning as well, ladies, very much so. As much as it embarrassed me, I appreciate it. Okay, and what else do we have here? Cecilia, thanks so much for being here this morning, hon. I appreciate you. Debs, thanks so much. Even Evil Queen Morticia popped in for a little bit to say hi, and I do appreciate that too. It's great to see you, Morticia. And Flower Ass, thanks so much. Please correct me if I'm saying that wrong. It looks like Flower Ass, but or Flowers. However you want me to say it, let me know. But yes, thank you so much once again for being in here. Be happy. I missed you. I wish you'd have been here earlier, but I understand. I hope that you can get out of that, the stream, what I was putting out there. And Miss Pam, thank you so much for being here. Again, Cecilia, Rebecca, Be Happy, Debs, everybody that was here. I love all you guys to death. I appreciate you guys being here with me and helping me go through what I go through with this. You guys all have a wonderful day. I hope nothing but good stuff happens for you guys today. And again, I will see you all soon. You have a great day. Bye-bye.